Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. So today's topic is mindset, and we're going to discuss calming the whirlwind. So I was talking with a friend recently, and we've been kind of discussing about how to streamline our lives in the sense of, is the efforts we're putting in every day leading where we want? So are we being busy just to be busy, but it's not really leading to the success that we want? And could we be doing anything any better? We just love these kind of conversations because just because you're busy doesn't mean that you're being productive in the sense of you're actually moving forward towards your goals. We all know that every single day we all tend to feel busy, right? But every single day, we can probably always name a goal or two that we didn't move forward to at all. So I know a ton of people who are busy every day, but they say they don't have time to exercise, to move forward in their physical health. They don't have time to eat well to move forward in their physical health. People who feel like they're busy every day, but they don't have the relationship connections with loved ones that they would like to have. And they're not really putting in any effort to kind of progress those or get that any better. So we all, I believe, know that just because we're busy doesn't mean we're moving forward, if we think of that. So most of us are busy just to survive today to get to tomorrow. We're busy to maintain, not necessarily busy to progress. So that's what the friend and I are talking about is, can we make sure that our busyness moves us forward? And if it is moving us forward, does it move us to where we want? And that's a really important question, kind of really important topic to consider. And in that discussion with my friend, we came across, generally like two categories of things. There's the things we want to do, and there's the things we have to do. And the things we have to do tend to be those everyday things. They're the things that just get us to tomorrow. They maintain our kind of homeostasis. They maintain the status quo. They're the things we have to do. And in a book he was reading, that daily maintenance activities, that daily activity was referred to as the whirlwind. And I liked it because a whirlwind is kind of like the hectic craziness, and like there's some of it that's expected that we do every day. There's some things that are come up that are unexpected, but it does kind of feel like that. Is every day we feel like we're almost like kind of chasing after what's the next thing that needs done. And because we're chasing whatever pops up, doesn't mean we're actually moving in the direction we want. So, for example, think about yourself moving you're in a field. You're on one side of the field and you want to move to the other side of the field. But in the process of doing that, you decide to chase a butterfly. So as you're walking across the field, a butterfly comes up and you're like, oh, that's so pretty. I want to get a picture of it. But you can't quite get the butterfly to rest long enough on anything. So you're following the butterfly, kind of like responding to it, chasing after it. Well, do you think that you're going to get across that field? Probably not. You're going to move wherever the hell the butterfly moves, and I guarantee that isn't going to be a straight line across the field. So all of a sudden you spend, how much energy chasing after the butterfly, and then when you go back to, oh crap, did I even get across the field? You might be worse off than you were before. And we do this all the day, like all the time, is we start our day with kind of a mindset of the goals we want to accomplish that we believe will give us a better tomorrow than today. So things that we want to get done because we know they're important. But as we get into the day, we start chasing after whatever comes up and we get lost, and sometimes we end up worse off or no better. So how can we protect against that? Well, it's understanding this whirlwind concept and learning how to calm the whirlwind. So again, the whirlwind is a mixture of things we know are going to happen and the things we don't know are going to happen. So if there's things outside of our control, things we don't know, then we can maybe plan a little bit ahead of time. We can maybe kind of have, ideas in place of how to manage that, but there's really nothing directly we can do. However, the things that we know, the things that are expected every day, are things we can kind of work with or against or through, or we can modify in some way to get a benefit that we're looking for. So some of the things that we do every day that we expect is brush our teeth, shower, laundry. We have to account for food, so we have to eat something or prepare something. Those are things we have to do every day. The unexpected would be, maybe you have to call a company to argue an unexpected bill. So you looked in your bank account and there's some stupid bill, you don't know what it is. So now you have to go call that company. That doesn't happen every day, but it happened today and it has to be dealt with. We might be asked a favor from a family member or friend that isn't something we planned to fit into our day, but now that they need it done, we have to find a way to fit it in. You might have like a trip to UPS to return something from Amazon. So just those random errands that come up. Those are the things that are the unexpected. So every day, there will be things that we expect, and there will be things we don't expect. How you handle the daily whirlwind, how you handle the have to do things, will determine how much time, effort, and energy you then have to give to the want to do things. So there's the things we have to do every day, there's the things we want to do every day. How do we get more time and energy to put into the wants, to our kind of big picture goals? That's what we're going to cover, okay? So we have 5 tips today for calming the whirlwind and fitting in more want-to-dos. So the things you want to do versus what you have to do. So the first tip we have is activity pairing. So can we pair a want with a have? So can we pair a want-to-do thing with a have-to-do thing? So some good examples that I use in my life is if I have a morning prep where I'm brushing my teeth, fixing my hair, shaving, whatever I do there, that might be 5, 10, 15 minutes or so. And one of my goals I have per day is to listen to a sermon. So I like listening to, like for my spiritual health, I like listening to a sermon because I feel like it's kind of like a lesson on religion in a sense of, okay, here's something I can learn for the day that I can apply for the day in relation to my spiritual health. Now, you don't have to be, religious in any way to use this. You can do whatever your kind of connection to the things bigger than you in the world is. But you could take time to listen to a podcast while you're doing your morning prep. So while I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm shaving, while I'm doing those things, they're almost like mindless tasks. And they certainly don't require your ears. So you can actually use your ears for something else. So you think about the senses you have. Is there a sense in your body, okay, like sight, taste, smell, hearing, those things, touch? Is there a sense that isn't being utilized? If so, use it. So that's one of the things I do is I pair a thing I have to do. I have to shave every day. I have to brush my teeth every day. I have to, fix my hair. I have to look somewhat presentable as a regular human being, or at least put on the fake facade of that. And during that have to do, I can do a want to do. So that's something I usually do on a regular basis. I also will listen to audiobooks that are based on business development or personal development. And I'll listen to those while I'm cooking or doing dishes or driving to work or working out. So again, things that are kind of tactical, mindless things, like doing laundry, folding laundry, things that keep me hand busy but not mentally busy. I'll try to pair some kind of audiobook or podcast or something like that. So that's one of the tips we can do is activity pairing. So I know someone they call a loved one whenever they're doing dishes. So when they're doing dishes and daily cleaning, they'll call a loved one and talk on a speakerphone, Bluetooth headphone, whatever the heck. People will talk to other people during commutes. They might listen to a podcast during the commute. But this is definitely one thing that people underutilize is what's called activity pairing. So this is something that I try to do in the sense of almost like making a game of it, is can I maximize my time? So sometimes if I leave work to go get food for lunch, during that drive, I'll use my hands-free phone device, we'll call it that, just so I don't get myself in trouble, and I might make a call to like my financial company and update billing information. I might listen to voicemails to see who the hell left a voicemail. that some poor soul who probably left a voicemail like 2 weeks ago that I never got back to. But that's often what I'll try to do is pair my activities. And what I've found is when I have good energy in the beginning and middle of the day, the more activities I can pair and crush and do well at, then I can have a lot done that day and then still have a calming sense later in the day, in the evening, if I want to relax and watch TV or if I want to spend time with a loved one. I don't feel so pressured to do things all the way into the evening because I've already gotten so much done during the day with my activity pairing. So that's the first tip. The second tip we have is schedule first priorities first. I know this sounds common sense, but people screw this up all the time. Oh my gosh, I see it all the time. Okay, so you don't want to do the laundry if you haven't yet planned out your meals for the day. The laundry can be done at any time. And this is an example of like you don't have, like a kid standing there waiting for pants for school. Okay. So, but if you're just doing general laundry can be done at 2 in the afternoon or 10 a.m. or 8 a.m. It doesn't really matter. But if you don't know what you're going to eat for lunch yet, figure that out. Figure out what you're going to do for your food, because your food is more important than laundry. Your food is your fuel for the day. It controls your physical health. It controls your daily energy. It controls your mood. There's so much about productivity and how well you feel, the quality of your life, that are tied with food, not laundry. So don't do the laundry if you haven't yet planned out your daily meals. Another example of this is to answer texts and emails in the order of most importance. So bills before bros is a good phrase. You would want to answer the emails, the texts, the voicemails, all that stuff that had to do with bills, with important life management things, before you would make that text, phone call, or whatever to a friend. Because if you do that text, phone call to a friend, but then you don't address the bill that's important that day, you might get caught up in the whirlwind the next day, then all of a sudden you miss the due date for that bill. And now you're paying a late fee. So these are things we want to make sure we address. Can I schedule my first priorities first? So there's a phrase I learned from some book I read a long time ago. It might actually be titled Eat the Frog First, but the concept is eat the frog first. So if you woke up today and I told you that at some point in time today, in order for you to see tomorrow, okay, you've got to eat a frog. Well, if you wait till the end of the day to eat the frog, you're going to have the stress, the anxiety, the worry, the anticipation of eating the frog. It's going to ruin your entire day because you'll be thinking about that damn frog. But if somebody told you right now, I need you to eat this frog or you're going to die, you'd say, okay, give me the damn frog. So I'll eat it right now. So eat the frog first. So whatever is the most important thing you have to do in your day, even if it's miserable, even if it's something you don't want to do, even if it's the equivalent of eating a frog, do it first. Get it out of the way. Typically, at the beginning of the day, we start with the most patience, most energy, most resiliency to trouble that we're going to have for the entire day. So it might take you a cup of coffee first, but usually at the beginning of the day, we're going to do a lot better with complex tasks than compared to later in the day. So eat the frog first. Schedule first priorities first. Now, tip number 3 is to think in pieces. So once and halves, the things we want to do, the things we have to do, they each have their own time needed to do it. So if you think of, okay, I want to prep a meal for supper, and prepping the meal, maybe a certain type of meal, certain recipe, whatever, takes 25 minutes. Well, then that unit of time, 25 minutes, is what you need. You might have, okay, well, I'm going to text a friend. So, for example, I text a couple friends in the morning every day. And I text them a dad joke just to make them laugh, but just to let them know that I care about them. And we do it to each other, so it's not like I'm something special. It was actually somebody else's idea that I stole, and we're participating together. But we just text each other every day just to let each other know that somebody cares for you, somebody's paying attention to you, somebody has you in their mind and in their prayers. So that does not take long to do. That might take me 2 minutes to find a dad joke online or on Instagram or something like that. Screenshot it and send it to them and with their name. And that's something super fast, 2 minutes to do. So it takes 2 minutes. So I know that unit of time is 2 minutes. I know that the unit of time to prepare like dinner was 25 minutes. So if you think in pieces, if you think of the time needed to do the things that you want to do and the things you have to do, what you want to do is go throughout the day and plug things in wherever they fit. So, for example, if I'm driving to work, like I told you, I do like the activity pairing of a podcast with my drive to work. Well, there are certain podcasts I listen to that are 15 minutes long. I selectively found podcasts for the topic I want that average 15 minutes. because my commute to work is 8 minutes. I know some of you are going to hate me for that because you have like 30 some minute or plus, like 1 hour kind of commutes. But my commute is 8 minutes. Yes, I know. Feel free to be grumpy about that. But my commute to work is 8 minutes. My commute home from work is 8 minutes. That's 16 minutes. That means I can fit that podcast in every day. So I can fit one podcast in per day because I'll listen to 8 minutes on the way to work and 8 minutes on the way home. So that's something that I know the unit of time that I had available was an 8 minute commute. One of the things I wanted to get done was to listen to a podcast. So I found a way to piece together that want into the time frame that I had. So this is what you want to do. Not only do we want to pair activities, like we said, once with have to do's, want to do's and have to do's, we also want to think of it as pieces. So if I know 25 minutes, I'm going to take to cook dinner. Well, what if I have a phone call I want to make? I want to call a loved one I haven't talked to in a while. 25 minutes is plenty of time to catch up. You can talk for 25 minutes and then just excuse yourself and say, hey, dinner's done. I got to call my family in, but it was really great to talk to you. That's actually a really good out. For people who are introverts like me and we don't really want to talk to anybody, but we feel bad when we don't, that's a great way to have time to talk to somebody, but then also have a way to escape. So feel free to laugh about that, extroverts. I'm sure you guys want to talk for hours and hours, and you think 25 minutes is nowhere near enough. But to us introverts, 25 minutes is scary enough. So those are things we can do is think in pieces. How much time do I have right now? And what of my have to do's and want to do's takes that much time? So if I have 10 minutes, what of my have to do's takes 10 minutes? So I don't have to think about when I'm scheduling something, at which part of the day. I'm just going to plug things into the pieces as they fit throughout the day. So this is a good idea to do because due to the uncertain things, the unexpected things of our whirlwind, we won't always have a schedule that fits every little nuance of every 15-minute segment that we want. The day will be kind of chaotic. It will not go perfectly smooth all the time. So it's great for you to be able to think in pieces and just plug things in wherever you can. So if you're sitting in a doctor's office because of an unexpected trip to the emergency room, okay, or you just have a random trip that day for a health checkup, and you're like, man, this stinks. Like I'm sitting in this waiting room for 20 minutes. Well, what can you do in 20 minutes? Can you look up? Can you read something helpful? Maybe can you listen to a podcast or audiobook? Can you text a friend just to connect? Can you look up something that makes you laugh and you have a little bit of like me time, like emotional kind of mental release while you're in the boredom of the waiting room? Can you use the time you have now for something beneficial? So that's what you want to do is think in pieces. The fourth tip we have is the 4 Ds. Defer, delegate, delete, and do. I absolutely stole this from my friend, so he's going to be laughing hopefully when he hears this. But I love this idea, is when we think about our day or whirlwind, what we think we have to do every day. Do you really have to do all that? All the time, I talk to people who say, I'm too busy to exercise, I'm too busy to eat well because of blah, blah, blah. And when you look at blah, 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 they're absolutely not streamlined, and they're not even doing things that are necessarily that important. We streamline their day. We get rid of the things that aren't important. We kind of delegate to others what doesn't need done by them. And all of a sudden, they have plenty of time to eat well, plenty of time to exercise. It's just the efficiency. They have to learn to be more efficient in their day and in their choices of what they do per day. So we can use the 4 Ds to help us calm the whirlwind by streamlining our day. So let's look at the word defer. Is there something you do every day that doesn't actually need done every day? Can you defer it to maybe every other day? If I'm doing something Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday, and it takes an hour, do I really need to do that, or can I just block off more time on Tuesdays and Thursdays to do it in chunks? So there's often things that we do that require time to set up, to kind of get in the mindset, to get in the mood. And rather than wasting time setting up and tearing down every day, can you just take the time on 2 or 3 days to set up, but then do it all then, and then have the time to tear down? But you don't have to waste that setup and tear down time every single day. So you want to think of block timing. If I can defer something, rather than doing it every day to where I only do it once a week, So cleaning is an interesting example. You can disagree if you want, but like if you think of, okay, well, every day I'm going to clean the bathroom, or every day I'm going to clean this, every day I'm going to clean that. Well, you have to get the cleaning supplies out. You can have to get into the mode of cleaning. Then you have to put all the cleaning supplies back. You can just clean twice a week. Take some time on Wednesday, take some time on Sunday, and just clean it in chunks. And while you're doing that, you can listen to an audiobook or a podcast, or you can talk with a friend. So you can activity pair while you also block time your efforts. So certain things don't need done every day. Just push them back to every other day or chunk them together for fewer times per week. You can also delegate. Is there something you're doing every day that necessarily you don't need to do? I talk with parents all the time, and too often, now, first of all, I do not have kids. So I've been around kids my entire life, and I literally mean that. My mom ran a daycare out of our house. So I've had 6 to 8 kids between 1.5 and 4 years old in my house all day, every day for my entire life. So I've been around a lot of kids. And now I do not have kids, so I am not a parent. So feel free to, I'm aware of that. So I'm about to give kind of like parenting advice when I'm not a parent, which sounds like a faux pas. However, I still think what I'm about to tell you is correct. So you can tell me what you think. But you don't have to do everything for your kids. So your kids learning how to do things on their own is fan-freaking-tastic, okay? Teach them how to do laundry. Teach them how to prepare meals. So maybe they can be responsible for cooking their lunch every day. Why do you have to do lunch, snack, dinner, every damn thing under the sun? Teach them how to make a good meal or two. Let them work on doing it. Teach them how to be an adult. When they move out of your house, how the hell are they going to do laundry if they don't know how to do it before then? If they move out of your house, how the hell are they going to feed themselves if they don't know how to do it before then? If they move out of your house, they don't know how to do like a checking account or a bank account. They don't know how to balance a checkbook. What the hell? Okay? As a parent, your job is to teach your child how to be a functioning, independent adult. So, start now. They can learn how to cut grass. They can learn how to clean. They can learn how to run a vacuum. They can learn how to do chores around the house. So delegate some of the things that you're doing per day to your kids. Make them do some damn work, okay? So it's not the end of the world. But that's something you can do. Just delegating just means in general is there something I'm doing per day that is like a burden on my time, but I don't necessarily need to be the one doing it. So there are different degrees of this, different examples of this. And, sometimes spouses can work together to kind of figure out schedules of who does what, but also not be stuck in a routine. Maybe you can trade days on who does what. So if one person feels like they're always the one who has to cook, but they freaking hate having to come up with the meal ideas. They freaking hate having to go through all the effort. They have to make the food. Then everybody eats it, then they just leave the room, and then they're the ones left cleaning it. Maybe it would be better if one person does that on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the other person does it on Tuesday, Thursdays, just to give the other person a little bit of a break. Then that person who got the break on Tuesday, Thursdays might have time to do like a little bit of a weight training or exercise. Maybe they can do a 10 or 15-minute routine right at home. So delegating doesn't mean necessarily you get rid of something forever or you put burdens on other people. It just means you share burdens. Okay? So that's something to think of. We also can look at the delete. So is there something that you're doing every day that you really don't freaking need to do? So you're doing it every single day, but it doesn't really need done every day. If you were to do it every other day, no one would really even notice. So that is something you can definitely consider. Okay? And there's tons of examples of that, so I'll just let you kind of run through that because I'm already getting kind of long on this podcast. And then the last D of the 4 Ds, there's defer, delegate, delete, and then the last one is do. But if you're going to do it well and do it with purpose. Okay? So if you're going to cook multiple meals at once. Cook enough food that there's an additional meal later on that somebody can heat up. You don't have to cook every single meal brand new. You can make multiple meals at once. So that's a way of doing something, but if you're going to do it well, do it with a purpose, and do it efficiently. Okay? So those are things you can apply, the 4 Ds. The last one we look for, the 5th tip, is to manage your mood. So positivity and good energy make a huge difference in your day. You can do way more and be way happier in your day by maintaining your mood. So you need to manage your mood by managing nutrition and hydration. So you need to eat ahead of when you need energy. Eat food before you run out of energy. We put gas in our car before we drive. That seems pretty damn reasonable, right? Because if you don't, your car sputters out and it won't move. But how many of us get up and get active and we're energetic and moving our body before we actually eat calories? And then we wonder why later in the day we feel like shit and we're irritable. What the hell do you expect? You ran a machine without fuel, it's not going to feel very good. So you need to eat ahead of your energy. And you need to stay hydrated. Dehydration affects energy immensely. It affects digestive stress. It affects a whole bunch of other things. So drink before you think you need to. So good idea is just kind of staying in the habit of drinking. You can think of different amounts, but I tend to tell clients about 1 gallon of liquid a day. And I focus on non-carbonated liquids. Okay? So you want to think of eating before you need the fuel, drinking before you become dehydrated. If you manage your nutrition and hydration, you will feel so much better in the evening, and you'll have more positive overall healthy happiness in your life. And then the other part of managing your mood is positive mindset management, self-care. Make sure that if you're feeling burned out at some point in the day, you pull back a little bit. Take 10 minutes, to talk to a friend. Take 10 minutes to go for a walk. Take 10 minutes to just look at something other than your computer. 10 minutes taken now can save you 10 times that much later in the day. So how many of us has been typing an email and we keep hitting backspace because we keep misspelling things or our sentences aren't making sense? We're just kind of just drained in our brain, and we're not feeling very creative. We're not feeling very sharp. And that's fatigue. That's mental fatigue. So taking time earlier in the day to make sure you're fed well, you're hydrated, and you have some positive mindset, you're not feeling drained and worn out, will help you calm the whirlwind because you'll be better fueled and energetic to manage the whirlwind. So those are 5 tips you can use. Activity pairing. Schedule first priorities first. Think in pieces. The 4 Ds of defer, delegate, delete, and do. And manage your mood. So these are all things that help. These are all things I've used with clients in various ways. But there is a better life that's possible for you if you will discipline yourself enough to go actually find it and earn it and meet it. So you can do more if you pay more attention to how you do. Okay? So use these 5 steps to calm your whirlwind, to calm your day. And you'll be amazed at how much more time, energy, and effort you can give to the want to do things rather than the have to do things. Okay? Now, if you need help towards this, of course, we're always here to help. This is what I do with clients all the freaking time, is just try to manage their life better or help them manage their life better so they can fit in kind of healthier physical habits. And that leads to healthier emotional health, mental health, relational health, and even spiritual health. So we can help with this. Just shoot us an email at brutalironjim@gmail.com. Tell us whatever you're struggling with, and it will help you. We'll help you figure out how to manage it better. Okay, I promise. So just reach out if there's anything that's holding you back from the happiest life you can have. Okay. So thank you for listening to this. If you think this would be helpful to anyone that you know, please share it on social media. The more we share the podcast, the more we can share good, healthy information, and our loved ones and friends can live happier lives. So I know, I always struggle with the concept of sharing seeming like it's self-promotion. And there will be some benefit to me by people sharing the podcast. I'm not going to be able to deny that, and I wouldn't want to deny that because I'd be lying. But that isn't why I promote people to share it. I literally feel that this information is helpful to everyone because I spend all day doing this with clients, and every single day this makes a difference in someone's life. Every single day I get to see someone living a happier life based on the information we share in these podcasts. So I would appreciate it and love it if you would share the podcast because that helps more and more people get that happy, positive benefit that I see every day. So please, if you don't mind, please share the podcast and it'll just help the world be a happier place. Okay? Then, if you like this information, you can always find more from us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Brutal Iron Gym. And if you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, we'd always love to hear from you because the podcast is for you. So we want to know what you want to learn about. You can tell us at our email at brutalironjim@gmail.com. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening. And thank you for watching.